Good afternoon, everybody. Uneducated Economist here. Thought I'd give you guys a bit of a lumber update this weekend. Lumber prices are not backing off. They are staying relentlessly high. Very surprising coming the time of year that it is, that the prices are still remaining elevated and seem to be that way into the foreseeable future. If this keeps up for the next couple of months, we are going to start off the next building season at incredibly high building prices. And I could only assume going into the summer that it's going to get worse as far as the price levels are going. If building a house was expensive last year, it's going to get even more expensive coming into the new year. Now, if I remember right, most of the articles that I was reading, that there was an additional $15,000 added to the cost of building the average home on account of the framing lumber going up as high as it has. Framing lumber is continuing to increase. Now, 2x4s, I work at a lumber yard. I sell retail lumber for a living. This is what my job is to, sell 2x4s to the average customer. We do a lot of home package sales. There's other guys in the office who do more of the home packages, but I do get to see the numbers, and I have my hands right into the middle of all of it. And I can tell you right now, there is some strange, really strange things taking place, especially when it comes to plywood. I have never seen a time where OSB, which stands for Oriented Strand Board, this is a cheaper version of plywood. It's used for sheathing the building. Now, if you're not familiar with sheathing, if you got like the 2x4s being the skeleton of the building, and then the sheathing is like the skin that goes on the outside before all the doors, window siding, stuff like that goes in. OSB is generally a lesser quality, lesser priced equivalent version of plywood, and it is more expensive right now to order OSB than it is to order plywood, to buy plywood. And to give you an idea, plywood is off the charts expensive. It just hit the recent hit a new all-time high as far as retail. I have never seen anything quite like this. Now, to kind of give you an idea on plywood, half-inch CDX typically would sell for somewhere around $18 to $22 a sheet. This would be like what a typical builder would expect to pay for a half-inch CDX sheathing plywood. On the low end, I've seen it drop down all the way to $15 a sheet, and on the high end, it'll get up to around $25. That would be like, whoa, that's way up there, $25 a sheet. Right now, half-inch CDX is sitting at $39 a sheet. When I fired that up this morning and I saw what we were selling it for, I just, like, my jaw hit the floor. I never would have ever thought that we would see $40 CDX 5-ply. And that's the difference when you're looking at the prices out there. There's CDX 4-ply, where they do 4 layers of plywood to make it, and then there's 5-ply, and we sell 5-ply. Man, when I saw that prices this morning, I didn't even know. Like, I could not imagine trying to build a house, sheathing it with $40 a sheet. I mean, it's just like, it's hard for me to even fathom that. Now, once a week, I get a letter, a lumber update. Kind of gives us an idea of where the different markets and what's going on in the different markets across the nation. So you got like the western side, the eastern side, southern, northern. And it seems to be the same story pretty much across the board. Prices are elevated, plenty of orders out there, and like the order files, like, as far as the time that you place your order to the time that you get it is like months out, 4 to 6 weeks away. And this is something that we experienced as the price increase was running up in the lumber futures, and now we're starting to see it again. I mean, lumber futures for a normal time, like throughout the last few decades, I mean, anywhere from like, say, 300 to 500 per thousand would be like a normal price. Right now, lumber futures, I think they closed at just under 900, in the high 800s per thousand. It's unreal. The prices should be coming down. They're not. Listen to this. OSB, now we talked about that already, OSB being the Oriented Strand Board, continued to extend order files and increase pricing. Inventory levels remain very lean in the wholesale and distribution segment, as well as dealer yards. Just about all the mills remain off the market. as they are concerned about filing January contracts. You can't even get it. We have not seen, in our yard, we have not seen OSB for more than 6 weeks now. I think this is probably 7 or 8 weeks that we have not brought in a unit of OSB to sell. It's cheaper to buy CDX. SYP plywood, that stands for Southern Yellow Pine. The Southern Pine plywood has become even tougher to source. Most mills have very little available capacity. Most mills are not quoting any sheathing, and half-inch is just about impossible to get quoted from any mill. I've never heard of that. Western SPF, that stands for Spruce Pine Fir. Western SPF. It was a relatively calm start to the new year in Western spruce. Mills are content to hold prices based on lengthy orders files as buyers assess on-the-ground inventories and new projects. Expect prices to hold firm next week as more of the same continues. So that's the only one that says, hey, things are looking kind of stable right here. Everybody else is saying it's getting expensive. Eastern SPF. It was a steady week of sales of Eastern producers. Mills were content to sit on order files that went into late January and early February. While sales volumes appeared to be nothing out of the ordinary, producers were still able to raise prices $30 to $40 this week on random 2x4 and 2x6. So they were able to raise $30 to $40 per thousand. Southern Pine, all zones. The overall trading pace has slowed and most yards have sourced the material they have been searching for over the last few weeks. Prices continue to surge as we surpass all-time highs, and buyers are seen being cautious amid the downside risk concerns. Western species dry dimension. Strong demand continued this week in Western species lumber. Mills raised their prices and extended their order files further into January and February. 8-foot and 9-foot studs remained steadfast. 2x4 white fir printed at $1,015 per thousand last Wednesday and rose to $1,030 per thousand by midweek. Green dimension. Green Doug fir sales became more active after the holidays. Price at the mill of 2x4 and 2x6 began the week at $865 per thousand and $830, and by the midweek had climbed to $885 and $850. Stud demand for 8-foot continued to increase, while 9-foot continued to rise at a faster pace and increased the large spread between the two lengths. 2x4, 8-foot and 9-foot mill prices started the week off at $580 and $900 and moved up in midweek to $605 and $935 per thousand. So you can see right now, I mean, during a time when there would be a slowdown, this is the slowdown season. This is when everything is starting to the projects are just now starting to get thought of and start to ramp up, and the prices are increasing, right? This is the time when you have a slowdown. It's not supposed to be like this. So going into the summer, I could only assume that if this is the pace that we're going at during the slowdown, if things pick up like everybody says it's going to, and that we're going to have a flood of money coming into the economy and that we're going to start seeing inflation rolling hot, holy moly, is it going to get expensive to build a home. I mean, if it was expensive last year, it's going to get intensely expensive if this goes on. Uneducated Economist, you guys let me know.